You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
I do not have a vagina. And he does not have a penis. We don't have genitals.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I have all the genitals.
I have all the genitals.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I do. I have them all.
And we got them all here at Moviesucktastic.
Yeah, baby. You know you love it.
I'm Scott. That's Joey.
With all the genitals. Got them
and
all.
Today we're here to ask a question.
What's the question?
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
It's a different movie.
Same nose.
Same. I think you're thinking of a different movie.
We're talking about the movie called The Nose.
The Nose.
By Bradley Cooper. Maestro, sorry.
I'll tell you, we touched on it a little bit when we were doing the Oscar nominations. What a bunch of bullshit. The slide is up right now about the prosthetic nose. It's just like, it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 fucking social media machine that just needs to be fed. So they just throw shit and see they think something's going to stick. And it's like, you know what? It didn't. You know why it didn't? Because it would have looked ridiculous if he didn't have some sort of prosthetic. Because he doesn't look like Leonard Bernstein otherwise. He doesn't. With the prosthetic and the makeup, it's pretty damn good job. Pretty damn good job. I was actually really, I was really impressed by the prosthetic work throughout this film. Yeah. I really was. From when he was a young man all the way until he was in his 70s, I was very impressed with how all of that looked. It really did.
It's nice. It's great proof that the CGI nonsense only goes so far.
Yep.
When it comes to humans, you need that tactile, physical alteration. You can't just blur it up. But the fucking Irishman proved that point, hands down.
That was, they had to de-age them because they were playing younger people. That was the only reason why they did it. But I don't know.
Now again, I praise the work they did in Indiana Jones: Dial of Destiny. I'm sure a lot of people are trashing that, saying it looked like shit. I thought they did a great job there.
They did well. You know what? It was also only like for 20 minutes, but it was a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
I'm just a bit more. I'm old fashioned, I guess. Great prosthetics and all of that. Here's what I find funny about the funniest thing to me about the nose controversy is that part of this story of Leonard Bernstein is that he had this secret. He was bisexual, so he had this secret gay life where he was sleeping around with young boys, men. Whatever.
Well, what was interesting? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, no. Let me just finish this thought. Yeah, we can go into that. I'm not going to go. I would say so. That's part of the story. However, I feel like we're in such an advanced day and age where no one's even talking about that. Everybody's focused on what's with the Junos.
Yeah.
I actually feel good about that. I feel like, well, at least that's not the controversy anymore. But I'm sorry. What'd you have to say about that?
Well, no. It's interesting that you would say that it's a secret life to everyone but him. He didn't care. As a matter of fact, watching this film, he only told one lie in the whole movie. One.
Mm-hmm.
Just one. Anytime he would talk to anyone, he was always truthful and honest, and he would always say what was on his mind. He never lied or, talked he just said what was on his mind. The only time he lied was to his daughter in that one scene when she asked him about the rumors. And he had talked to his wife before he went out to do it, and he said, well, I'm just going to tell her. And she says, don't you do it. And you could tell that he didn't like that. He would have no problem telling her about his bisexuality at all. And when they would have gatherings and parties and he was out socially, he didn't care. Like, somebody would come in and he would just, kiss someone, like a man that was in his life at some point or is now or once, right on the mouth. And he was that kind of a loving person. Didn't care. So he was honest the entire film except for that one scene.
He was still very selfish.
Selfish is different than not being honest.
That's why I'm just saying one trait is maybe a little positive, but it's outweighed a bit by the fact.
No. And they touch on that in the movie. They did not. Listen. The whole film did not show him in a perfect light. It didn't.
All the good biopics do that. They do show the flaws of the character. You're looking at the whole person, not just the glorified aspect. It's part historical, part character study. Yeah, I'm with you on all that.
And did you also notice that he's smoking in literally every single scene of this movie until his wife gets diagnosed with cancer? Mm-hmm. He has a cigarette in his hand or in his mouth, literally every single scene. And that to me is brilliant filmmaking, because Leonard Bernstein was known for that. He was known to be a heavy smoker, and he ended up dying from complications from mesothelioma.
Can we dial brilliant back to great attention to detail?
No.
I mean, it's. I think brilliant's like a jump. That's all. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's brilliant that it was done in such a way that you might not, like the average moviegoer, might not notice it and recognize that it has brilliance. Sorry, that's what I feel about it.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
You are disagreeing. Can we dial that back a bit and just say great attention to detail?
Oh no, brilliant. I just thought brilliant was a strong of a word, a bit hyperbolic. That's all. That's all. I was just trying to keep it a bit more realistic.
Okay.
I personally reserve brilliant for very brilliant.
I'll tell you what I didn't think was brilliant.
What?
The two different aspect ratios and.
Thank you. Thank you. It's one of those films I'm thinking about the next day, and just in the back of my head, I'm like, I liked it in the Grand Budapest Hotel because it was great and part of the narrative. Every single director that's done it since, go fuck yourself.
I was not a fan
Seriously.
Of the 4-3. I get that that's a time period where the world, if you were watching something on TV, you were getting in that aspect ratio. But if you went to a show or you went to the movies, specifically like a show, an opera, or whatever, you're not seeing it in that perspective. If you go to the movies, you're not seeing it in that perspective. Movies were shown in a widescreen format, even all the way in the 50s. But with that said, I would have been fine if it was in the 4:3 aspect ratio and then moved to a widescreen aspect ratio when he decided to start the film in color. I think that would have been a better move.
Here's where I defend the film, even though I don't like it.
Okay.
The thing though with the aspect ratio, it's not just the aspect ratio. He does it with the film stock and the color as well. What we have to remember is the film opens and ends and is intermittently peppered with the fact that he's being interviewed. This has all been him being interviewed to his life. So
Right.
we're really technically supposed to be seeing this through the media of, even though we're looking into his personal life, we're still looking the same way we would during that time period as a media figure, as a public figure.
Right.
So
Meaning if you were watching it on television, is what you're getting at.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or any. Yeah. Well, I say media because as it goes widescreen, we're talking about people watching it on tablets and stuff, and you're going from TV to theaters to, or it's the TVs themselves changed over time period. That's why the aspect ratio changed.
I think you still get the same movie if you don't do the fucking aspect ratio shit.
And that's why I still don't agree with that. I agree with you. I don't even. I feel like it was kind of even just doing it in black and white in the first part. It's like, pick and choose which films you're doing that with.
Yeah.
I thought it made more. I thought it made more sense using the black and white scenes in Oppenheimer because it was non-linear and we needed a way to tell the difference between these storylines because they all took place in different times in the past, so there wasn't really much else you could do. That makes sense to me because that has a real function. This was just window dressing for the Oscars.
Maybe, yeah, probably a little bit of that, but
it's the garnish.
I think there was definitely some decisions made there. Yeah. I don't agree with them, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. I'll put it that way. I just don't agree with the aspect ratio.
I think the important thing for us to know is that even though we don't agree with what he did, we can agree that he did do it masterfully enough where I feel like it makes sense that he's up for Best Director. Oh, wait, he's not. Never mind.
He's up for Best Actor and Best Picture for this.
Yeah.
So
I love all the shit he put into this, and it's that tells me it wouldn't have been up for Best Picture.
Well, you know my theory. I think everyone that's listened to this show long enough knows. The films that are up for Best Director are, in my opinion, the films that would have got nominated if we still had a 5-movie category.
There's flexibility for that because they don't always match 100%. They always
They
have
don't.
off ones.
They don't always, but it's
right.
Usually it's one off, which means it's almost that. It's almost perfectly accurate.
I'm going to quote a movie for you here.
Yeah.
It's more of a guideline than a rule. Okay. But anyway, bada bing, bada boom. We got so we can agree that like technically wise, it's a well crafted film, and even the writing. I mean, it works at the narrative wise. He does pull it off, no question there. Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Did you like engage with the movie, with the story about him? Did you really feel anything special about it? Because
not really. I just enjoyed Bradley Cooper's performance. I thought.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's during that scene where he's disrobing while arguing with his wife about telling his daughter that he's a bisexual slut.
Yeah.
Half the time I kept mistaking him for Jeremy Irons.
What? Why? I don't.
Just because of the way he was doing.
The correlation isn't there.
He was leaning forward, and then the way he was delivering some stuff, I was just getting Michael. I was just getting Jeremy Irons.
You're alone on that.
All right,
I'm sorry.
I didn't expect that to be a. If I thought that was a controversial take, I wouldn't have said it. So I withdraw it. Feel free to edit that.
No, I'm not going to edit anything. Did it take away from the scene for you?
No, I just thought it was funny. I was like, man, I'm just getting Jeremy Irons here. I don't get it. That's all. That was it. It didn't take away. I don't think there was much to take away because I don't really feel like there's really not much empathy to have for the character. Because all he really is just a selfish man-child.
Yeah.
Basically, with enough musical talent to make it to Carnegie Hall.
And she tells him that. She basically tells him that all of his flaws as the Macy's Day Parade is in the background.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
That was an interesting scene because as like when it starts and there's something floating, not floating, but like gliding by the window, and I'm like, this is like a fever dream? Like, what's happening here? And that's one of those moments where I was suddenly like, all right, I know I'm not enjoying this film. Did I doze off? Why is that? I thought it was like a carriage slowly going by. I don't know what's okay. I'm obviously not paying full attention because I should know what the fuck this is. Yeah, and then the giant Snoopy floats by, and then I hear the kids, come on. I'm like, oh, it's the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
Got it.
I obviously wasn't paying attention to the minor dialogue. I was just watching who he touched as he was going through the room. I know she says it. She didn't have to. I mean, but like, so it's for me. It's just not an interesting character. I'm sorry. We're going at this guy's life. I don't find it that revealing. I mean, he didn't even have any major hurdles to overcome. I mean, anti-Semitism, I guess, didn't involve it too much in his life. He doesn't really come up much in the film, right? I'm not forgetting anything, right?
I don't think so. You know what scene? You know what scene? I mean, it's just one quick scene, but when he walks out of his apartment and he runs into his ex-lover and his ex-lover's wife, and they have a baby in a carriage, and he starts talking to the baby, and he's like, "Oh, who are you? I've slept with both your parents." He goes, "I know, too much information." And I'm like, it's just kind of, I think that what they were really trying to show there is just how, honest, open he was.
Well, I mean, at the same time, he does acknowledge, and they do acknowledge that he's not supposed to be doing stuff like that in public,
right?
And he's not supposed to, and that it is still something that is going to tarnish his reputation on it. I think his father, that opening, that one scene where they're all having outside meal, and his father starts talking about, you have to make sure that you're a clean composer. And
right.
So when does morality get into music? I don't know. I know father-son, you don't want the father-son to be like sleeping around, but at the same time, it just seemed like a bit forced for me, and I don't see the big hurdle. He never makes a big deal out of his bisexuality. The only real big consequence of it is it ruins his fucking wife's life.
Yeah, because she basically says no one can enjoy anything because you're so open. She's essentially telling him to just kind of be maybe not closeted, but just why are you so adjusting.
Honest? I don't care if you're gay, bi, straight, whatever. You're married. Put it back in your pants. You're a fucking adult.
Sure. What? Like, even when his sister, she's trying to cover for him, like so she sees him run off with this one character named Tommy, and
Tommy.
Sarah Silverman, who plays his sister in the movie, sees him walk, out of the room with him, and then of course Carey Mulligan, her character, his wife, says, "Have you seen Lenny?" And she goes, "Oh, I can go get him," meaning save him the embarrassment of getting caught, because that's probably what's going to happen. And his wife was like, no, I'll get him. And then she's like, she's not going to. She doesn't get herself in the middle of it, and she basically tells her where she saw him go, and then she basically catches him anyway. So it was scenes like that. I liked, because it just showed how he was, the humility, but him being okay with it, and he tries not, he doesn't lie. He's just like, "Oh, let me introduce you to this person," and she gets mad about it, and he's like, fuck, I did it again. It was like that. He knows who he is. He knows how he is, and she knows how he is, but she's like, "Get your shit together. we're entertaining here, or something along those lines, you know. And he realizes it. He's like, you're right, you know. But that's how he was.
I just don't find him a compelling character for a film. This is a film. It's meant for entertainment. It's not a fucking documentary. So
I think it goes along the lines that Leonard Bernstein is probably the greatest American composer ever.
That's my point. So
that's why, you know, the movie is made. That's why,
right?
But it's supposed to be compelling.
I know. But my point is, I halfway through I realized. So I'm just watching like an emotionally abusive husband prance around because he was also good at music. Why? You know, I didn't find entertainment in it. I wasn't that compelled by him as a person. He was just a fucking selfish, bisexual slut. That's it. He was any got married man that's doing this. I don't care if it's men or women that they're doing it with. You're just being selfish and you're destroying everyone around you just to satisfy your own fucking ego. Obviously, the guy had a huge ego, and they play on that. You know, I mean, the whole beginning and ending of the whole thing with his wife like haunting the house, like that's his ego covering up for the fact that he haunts her because he feels so guilty that he destroyed her life. I
did not take away him being emotionally abusive, the way you're saying. I did take away that he, like as you said earlier, was just really selfish.
Okay, if any of our, we don't have that big of a female audience. Most of our audience is male because we're guys, and I guess that's the same thing.
Okay.
And also, we don't talk about a lot of girly things. But if any females are listening to this, please let Joey know if you agree with him that there was not emotional abuse in this marriage. I would like to hear it from a lady. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
For me, that's the whole point of the film. The whole point, his misbehavior, just to satisfy his own ego, slowly tortures his wife emotionally, and then he only makes an about face when she gets a cancer. He waits till the last minute to try to become a good husband, and it doesn't work, and now his life is filled with guilt because he was a dick.
No. They got back together before the cancer diagnosis. They did.
Yeah.
So. He didn't come back because of it. They got back together before.
I didn't say come back, but I'm saying like it was too little, too late. And
she let him know. She let him know that the way he behaved was interfering with their marriage and their love, which they both believed was true. And they ended up separating for a little while, and she came back to him. She even said at one point, that she misses him, and that she loves him, and he knows it too. So, emotionally abusive. Listen, I've had a lot of women in my life that have been emotionally abused. While I don't disagree completely, I don't think that it was to that extent. What? Why?
I don't think we're making any headway on this, and I think we should move the conversation on.
Okay.
I don't think you did yourself any favors with that. I just think we should just move on.
Why? Am I single or actively dating? No, I'm not.
No. Again.
What are you getting at?
No, I mean, I just.
I'm not not belittling anyone that's in an emotionally abusive relationship. I'm just saying that in this film, I didn't feel that was the case.
I'm only saying that your argument for why it's not an emotionally abusive relationship doesn't hold much water, so we should just move on because I don't want to debate it anymore. Okay. That's all.
Okay.
We definitely know your opinion, and I'm my opinion, and we're just gonna.
Wow. The longer you talk like that, it makes me come off really bad, dude.
I hope not. and I don't want to talk about this anymore until one of our female audience weighs in. Please do so. We have a phone number. Call it. Tell us if we're being, pigs or not.
Okay.
I want to know.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. But long story short, for me, this whole film, it's definitely a craft film. This was made to show what Bradley Cooper could do. This is his portfolio. It's not a story anybody really cares about, except maybe Bradley Cooper. I don't know, maybe a few people that are really into composers. Me personally, I prefer my composers as Columbo villains.
Okay.
outside of that, I really have no interest. I was okay with Tar, but that was because what Tar was doing with the whole idea of like the sexual predator and the outing on the media, but not the composer thing was the least of the great things about Tar. This has even less than Tar.
It does. It does.
For my interest. So I will say it's a beautiful film, but I don't think it has any substance. And really, as far as like the fact that it's about his secret life that wasn't even that secret makes it even that less impressive and just more annoying that we're focusing on that. Just my opinion. So,
right.
But I will say it's a good film. It's a decent film. I just didn't like it.
The script has been not kicking around, but they've optioned to make this into a movie for years, to the point of where, if you notice when the movie opened up, it said one of the production companies was Amblin, which is owned by Steven Spielberg, and then produced by Martin Scorsese, produced by Steven Spielberg, produced by Bradley Cooper. So both Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg at one point, had we still been into Hollywood Stock Exchange, I'm sure that stock has been kicked around for a long time for this movie. That those directors
been
were
on there in ages. Is that still on?
Not only is it still on, but when I'm testing a new network, and I go to a building, I always use that website to test it, because I don't want any sites that have been cached, because I'm like, nobody's going to this website but me. So I know if that page loads up when I'm doing a new network somewhere, I'm like, yep, network works. It's still around and has been around. Last I checked, I had $200 million in stock.
I'm gonna have to play around with that later.
I think you had a lot more. I think you had a lot more than me. So if anyone knows, as a matter of fact, the new website, it's going to have a section called Pages, and it's going to have a bunch of links to a bunch of different things, like our YouTube channel. It's going to have Box Office Mojo, IMDb, stuff like that. One of the pages that I'm putting in there is the Hollywood Stock Exchange, because if anyone is interested in doing this, you make a free account and you get $2 million in fake money. And then what you do is you take that $2 million and you invest in stock options, actors, directors, things of that nature. If a movie comes out and it does well, you could buy a stock option for its sequel. When it gets made, the stock goes up in value. It's literally like the regular stock market, but for movies, but for Hollywood.
Right. Just real quick, and this is going to sound very paranoid, but just so we don't get flagged on YouTube, let me underline that was not a paid paid advertisement. We're just mentioning the website. We are not advertising for the site. It's not a paid advertisement. Just wanted to underline that.
Why would we get flagged?
YouTube does weird. Now that we're monetizing, YouTube does weird shit. So
really? I didn't realize that they would scan our episodes for text audio.
That's how they flag sites for using certain words and terms. They have AI doing all that stuff.
God damn.
Dude, we're under the microscope here. This is public access. They don't want us to do anything they don't want us to do.
Anyway, so yeah, you start off with $2 million and you invest it. Now, last I looked, I had like $200 million, and I believe you had much more. I think you did it for a little longer than I did.
Because the last couple of times I played, I just dumped any money I had into long shots. So some of them are probably... I know I had Doc Savage, and that still hasn't paid off.
Right.
But I know I had some real long shots that I've paid out in the past. Justice League, I'm pretty sure I had that back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I definitely going to start doing that again. We'll talk about that more.
We should do that and mention it on the show, and then get flagged by YouTube, apparently.
Well, no, just as long as it doesn't sound like the way you were explaining it so great. I was like, this sounds like a paid ad. This sounds like because I know when I skip the paid ads in YouTube, and that's what it sounds like when they segue. You had like a masterful segue into what sounded like a paid promotional. That's all.
I'll take it as a compliment, even though I don't think so, but I'll take it as a compliment.
If anybody wants to pay us to promote stuff, that's what you're going to get. Grade A promotion right there. They should be paying us right now for that. It's ridiculous.
There you go.
But Maestro, agreeing that it's a really well. All right, Bradley Cooper. I know actor directors that direct themselves get a lot of flack. It happened with Braveheart, which honestly, looking back, I feel like Braveheart's a bit overrated now. But moving on.
You have to look at what it was up against in that year to truly make that decision.
And the time period, I don't want to get into it. I was just saying, I just threw it aside. But I just feel like this is a film that was really made to win an Oscar, or at least show that he's able to win an Oscar, and there's really not enough depth in it for me to feel like it deserves an Oscar. So as far as the quality of it, rating it, what do you think?
Well, let's see. What is it currently at right now? It's currently at a 6.6, which...
Probably because of the nose.
I don't think so, but... I honestly think that's not an appropriate score. I wouldn't give this film less than a 7.
I agree. I think The Craft alone deserves higher than that.
Yeah. 8 is... It is
a controversial film, though, so that does skew the numbers on these public ratings boards.
Yeah. So, does it deserve an 8? I think... that scene near the end of the movie where he's conducting, that music was so... And the music, everything in this movie, except for a couple of music scenes, is all Leonard Bernstein's music. The entire film. The entire movie. Even when he wakes up and he's in the hotel room and he pulls the sheets back and it is the one lover that he meets up later when he's walking, that's his music, even later on when he's just talking at a party and the music in the background, that's his music. You know what I mean? It's just music the whole way through. Even when he goes over to they have like a summer home and it's the West Side Story music playing because he wrote West Side Story. So the scene near the end of the movie where he's composing, it's done so well. That scene is done so well, and the music is so good. This doesn't deserve less than a 7. That's just ridiculous now.
I agree with that. I definitely don't think it deserves less than Past Lives, which we gave a 7. I could even give this film an 8. I could. I'm good with a 7. But if you came at the conversation saying, I think we might go 8, I don't think I would disagree. I have the same argument for a 7 with this film that I did with Past Lives. I feel like whatever it wins, just being a well-structured film, it loses me with the actual storyline. There's nothing engaging here. I don't think anything is new. And as far as covering like musicians with like secret gay lives, Liberace is the beginning and the end of that story. It's not. It's a joke at this point that happens. And now we're at such an age where this stuff is so unimpacting that when you're showing a guy that skated through life without any really severe consequences of it, it's really hard to make it that much of an impactful of a story. He's not like he got blacklisted for it or anything. He may have lost a job here or there. They really don't show anything in the film like that. So I'm watching an abusive husband just because he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
I just well done. So a 7. I agree.
7 it is.
Yeah.
7 it is. So the other Oscars that it's up for.
I wonder if someone will hear that and like start calling me an activist reviewer. I like that.
Okay.
Activist critic.
Oh, sure.
Scott Wilson, activist critic. No, with the white
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
streak. Dun-dun-dun.
It's nominated for Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling.
Oh yeah.
Well deserved. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if it wins, I'd be fine with it winning. I don't know what it's up against. I'm not going to look it up.
It's up against-
We already did that episode.
Hey, it's up against real quick. It's up against Golda, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. So it maybe
For makeup?
Poor Things might for best makeup and hairstyling.
Oh, Willem Dafoe alone is probably going to nab that Oscar.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because as far as the makeup goes, I think that's really the extent of Poor Things, is Willem Dafoe's face. So, yeah, this film, really, really, really good makeup. It's nominated for Best Sound. Makes sense. Movie relies heavily on music. Best Picture, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Carey Mulligan. I don't know if she's going to win. I know she's a front runner, though. Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, Bradley Cooper. Also don't know if he's going to win. Also a front runner with Cillian Murphy. I think it's like back and forth between the two of them.
You know my feeling on biopics. So,
Yeah, no, I know. Biopics tend to win Best Actor and Actresses, though.
But as far as I don't consider, I consider them like somewhere between real acting and impersonations, and I don't think they're very seldom actually worthy of an Oscar. That's
Right.
my personal opinion.
Best Original Screenplay, Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer.
Again,
I could see.
how is it not adapted if it's about his? I mean, again, the whole Barbie thing, I just pisses me off. It's not a bad screenplay. It's well crafted. I think it's boring, but it's well done. So
Right.
sure, I guess. I mean,
And
I really feel like The Holdovers is the holdover for that.
probably. And Best Achievement in Cinematography, I think that's going to end up going to Oppenheimer. But the cinematography in this film is good. Maybe if they used a wider aspect ratio, you get more of that cinematography. Sorry about that. I had to do it. Now I pulled up the Braveheart.
What have I done?
I had to look. Braveheart, Best Picture that year. Up against, let's see, what was it up against? You know, it's funny. IMDb has all of the categories. They put Best Picture like near the bottom. Put that shit near the top. You know that's what I'm looking for. Fucking douchebags.
Probably alphabetical.
So this is what it was up against. It was up against Sense and Sensibility, fucking Snorefest, Apollo 13. That's not That's not Best Picture. Il Postino, or the Italian film The Postman.
I've never seen that. It's
Same.
supposed to be really.
Same.
Yeah.
Babe.
There's only like 140 cuts or 40 cuts or something like that throughout the whole film. There's a lot of
Right.
one long takes.
Babe. Babe was up for Best Picture that year.
Thank the pig.
And Braveheart. Yeah. Braveheart is the best picture in that list. Does it no, stop it. Does it hold up? Maybe not as much as you thought, but if it's up against those other four, yeah, it's winning Best Picture. And it's going to put that through an algorithm, a simulator, it's going to win Best Picture 99 out of 100 times.
All I'm saying is I go back now and look at it, and Mel Gibson just throws off a Sean Connery vibe I didn't get originally, and I don't know if it's just me getting older.
Maybe if his Scottish was better, then yeah, you get Sean Connery vibes.
Well, see that's what I mean. It's like not adapting to the language you're supposed to be playing. That's what
every
I mean by that.
every man dies. Not every man truly lives. It's like okay.
I am the last Sean Connery.
Not every man truly lives.
Not every Sean Connery, truly.
Not every Sean Connery. Miss Minnie Penny.
right. This isn't the trip. Let's wrap up Maestro here.
All
Are
right.
we agreeing with that?
Yes, 7 is
I
fine.
already voted at 7. Yeah, we agreed with the 7.
All right, let's go ahead and end the show.
All right.
All right, everybody. Go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. Like I said in the last episode, brand new site. I'm hoping I will have up in the next week or two. You can download. What's nice about this new website that I'm making, you can download the show there. You can listen to the show there. Or if we have a YouTube video associated with the episode, you can watch the episode. It'll take you right to the YouTube page. It's a labor of love. I'm telling you. It really is. So I am definitely going to be keeping an eye on statistics for this, because if people aren't visiting it, I'm going to be personally insulted. Go to
Holding yourself up for a fall.
Well, I have to, so that when it happens, I'll be prepared.
Start working on that manifesto.
Yeah, no, stop it. Stop it now. People already think that
I'm on my second draft. Let's get going.
I'm an insensitive person because of you. I mean, I'm just giving an opinion on a film, not my life or anyone else's.
No,
It's fine. It's fine. You don't know what you did, but it's fine.
I think we should both go back and re-listen to the episode like after a good night's sleep.
Maybe. Go to iTunes and you can listen to the show there as well. Go to Facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. Everything we post goes there. And from movie trailers to movie news, anything that we like goes on our Facebook page. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. If you want to leave us email, it's themovieguys@Moviesucktastic.com. Download your favorite podcast player and listen to the show that way. Or you can go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk and you can download our podcast player. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
If you're not careful, you're going to die a lonely old queen.
She did say that to him, and he pretty much was like, fuck.
Other words of wisdom.
Yeah, there it is. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week when we review 2 more Oscar films. We hope to see you there.
We know which ones, too, right?
We do know which ones. It's going to be The Holdovers and American Fiction. I'm actually looking forward to both of those.
Me too.
Quite a bit.
Nice change of pace.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Totally abusive.